Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today, we're not just watching a video, we're stepping into a space of profound transformation. This isn't background noise. This is a conversation designed to speak directly to your soul, to the quiet whispers of a heart that knows it deserves more peace. Consider this video a mirror, reflecting back to you the immense power you already possess, but might have forgotten. You didn't just stumble upon this video by accident. No. It was meant for you, a resonant call from your deeper self, signifying that your inner voice knows it's time to break free. It's time to shed the heavy cloak of stress that has perhaps clung to you for too long, dimming your light and muting your true potential. Do you often feel overwhelmed, perpetually chasing your tail, or living with a knot of anxiety tightening in your chest? Do you yearn for a sense of calm, clarity, and control in a world that often feels chaotic? If you answered yes, even with a silent nod, then you are exactly where you need to be. This moment, right here, right now, is your turning point. Your soul is ready to shed the unnecessary burdens it has carried. We're going to unlock the shackles of persistent stress, not with quick fixes, but with foundational shifts that will redefine your daily experience. I am going to give you the key, a potent, actionable roadmap, to eliminate stress in 3 easy, yet profoundly powerful steps. These aren't just techniques. They are pathways to real freedom and an invigorated sense of self. And for those of you also looking to refine your English, pay attention to the rich vocabulary and clear structures, a bonus for your linguistic journey as we empower your life. Let's begin. This is your first step to real power. How to eliminate stress in 3 easy steps. Our journey to eliminating stress is structured around 3 powerful pillars. Reframe your mindset, reclaim your energy, and redefine your boundaries. Each pillar contains 5 actionable tips, designed to give you a comprehensive toolkit for lasting peace. Step 1. Reframe your mindset. This first step is all about transforming the way you perceive the world and your place within it. Stress often begins not in external events, but in our interpretation of them. Tip 1. The illusion of control. Life rarely goes exactly according to plan, and clinging to the fantasy of absolute control is a surefire path to stress. We often believe that if we just plan enough, worry enough, or work hard enough, we can dictate every outcome. Most people live under the heavy weight of trying to control variables far beyond their influence, from the weather to other people's opinions, from global events to past mistakes. This constant struggle against the uncontrollable exhausts our mental and emotional reserves, leaving us feeling anxious and powerless when reality inevitably deviates from our meticulously crafted expectations. Imagine you're trying to steer a massive cargo ship through a hurricane, armed only with a tiny paddle. You're expending immense energy, frantically paddling, believing you can change the storm's course. You worry about every wave, every gust of wind, every creak of the hull. This intense, futile effort leaves you utterly drained and terrified, even though your paddling has no actual impact on the hurricane. The stress isn't from the storm itself, but from your relentless, unrealistic attempt to control it. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you acknowledge what you can control and radically accept what you cannot. The truth is, you control your actions, your reactions, your effort, and your attitude. Everything else is largely outside your direct command. The shift happens when you surrender the need for external certainty and find your certainty within, in your resilience, your adaptability, and your unwavering inner peace. To implement this, practice the control circle exercise daily. Draw 2 concentric circles. In the inner circle, list everything you can directly control, your effort, your response, your boundaries. In the outer circle, list everything you cannot control, other people's actions, the economy, the past, the future. Spend your energy exclusively on what's in the inner circle. When something in the outer circle causes anxiety, consciously release it by saying, "This is outside my control. I choose to focus on my response." For the next 24 hours, whenever you feel stress rising, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, how can I accept it and focus on what I can do? Asterisk, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Reinhold Niebuhr. Tip 2. Embrace imperfection. In a world saturated with curated social media feeds and the relentless pursuit of perfection, we've been subtly programmed to believe that anything less than flawless is a failure. Most people suffer from the tyranny of the shoulds. I should be thinner, richer, happier, more productive, a better parent, a perfect partner. This relentless internal critic sets impossibly high standards, making every mistake feel catastrophic and every achievement seem inadequate. The result is a constant state of anxiety, fear of judgment, and an inability to truly enjoy life's messy, beautiful reality. Consider Sarah, a brilliant artist who never shares her work because she believes it's not good enough. She spends hours agonizing over tiny details, repainting canvases, only to discard them in frustration. Her studio is full of unfinished masterpieces, each a testament to her talent. Yet none sees the light of day because they don't meet her internal, impossibly high standard of perfection. The stress isn't from the act of creating, but from the crushing weight of her own self-imposed, unattainable expectations. She is paralyzed by the fear of imperfection, missing out on the joy of creation and connection. But here's the secret. True growth, innovation, and genuine connection flourish in the fertile ground of imperfection. Real control begins when you recognize that perfection is an illusion, a static, lifeless concept. The truth is, your uniqueness, your lessons learned, and your very humanity are found in your edges, your mistakes, and your ongoing evolution. Embracing imperfection isn't about lowering your standards. It's about shifting from impossible demands to compassionate progress. To implement this, practice the good enough principle. Before starting a task, define what good enough looks like, rather than perfect. Give yourself permission to complete something and move on, knowing you did your best at that moment. When you make a mistake, instead of self-flagellating, ask, what did I learn from this? How can I apply that going forward? Actively seek out opportunities to celebrate your progress, not just perfect outcomes. Today, choose one task you've been procrastinating due to perfectionism, complete it to good enough standards, and release it without further critique. Asterisk, have no fear of perfection, you'll never reach it. Salvador Dali asterisk. Tip 3. The power of perspective shift. Stress often magnifies problems, making molehills look like mountains. Our natural tendency, especially when under pressure, is to narrow our focus onto the negative aspects of a situation, losing sight of the broader context. Most people become so engrossed in the immediate difficulty, a demanding boss, a financial setback, a difficult conversation, that they forget to zoom out. This tunnel vision prevents us from seeing alternative solutions, recognizing inherent strengths, or appreciating the bigger picture, trapping us in a cycle of worry and helplessness. Imagine you're standing in front of a giant, intricate tapestry, with your nose pressed right against it. All you can see is a tangled mess of threads, an overwhelming chaos of colors and knots. You feel stressed by the apparent disarray, convinced it's a disaster. However, if you step back 10 feet, the threads resolve into a beautiful, coherent image. The stress wasn't in the tapestry itself, but in your proximity and limited perspective. Similarly, when we're too close to a problem, its complexity and perceived magnitude overwhelm us. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you consciously choose to shift your perspective. The truth is, every challenge carries with it the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. By deliberately stepping back and looking at your situation from different angles, you can transform perceived threats into manageable challenges or even catalysts for growth. This doesn't mean ignoring problems, but rather reframing them in a way that empowers you. To implement this, practice the future self technique. When faced with a stressful situation, imagine yourself 5 years from now, looking back at this moment. Ask, how significant will this truly be then? What lessons will my future self have learned? What advice would my future self give me now? Another powerful technique is worst case / best case / most likely scenario planning. By calmly considering all outcomes, you often realize the worst case is rarely catastrophic, and the most likely is often manageable. The next time a small problem feels overwhelming, mentally zoom out. Ask, will this matter in a week, a month, a year? And consider its true long-term impact. Asterisk, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. Anais Nin asterisk. Tip 4. Mindful observation. not judgment. Our minds are relentless meaning-making machines, constantly labeling, categorizing, and judging everything we experience. This incessant internal commentary, particularly the negative self-talk and harsh judgments of others, is a major source of stress. Most people automatically attach judgments to thoughts and feelings. This feeling is bad. I shouldn't be thinking this. That person is wrong. This creates a constant internal battle, where we fight against our own experiences rather than simply observing them. The stress comes from this resistance, not from the initial thought or feeling itself. Consider a cloudy day. Our mind might immediately label it gloomy, depressing, bad weather, and consequently, we feel our mood drop. We judge the clouds, the temperature, even our own reaction, layering stress upon natural atmospheric conditions. We might think, I hate cloudy days. They make me so unproductive. The clouds are just clouds, but our judgment of them, and of ourselves for feeling affected, creates a spiral of negative emotion and stress that could have been avoided. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you practice mindful observation, detaching from judgment. The truth is, thoughts are just thoughts, and feelings are just feelings. They are transient phenomena passing through your consciousness. By observing them without attachment or judgment, you create space between you and your experience. This space is where peace resides, allowing you to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. You become the observer of your mind, not its prisoner. To implement this, practice the leaves on a stream meditation. When a thought or feeling arises, imagine it as a leaf floating down a gentle stream. Simply place the thought on a leaf and watch it float by. Don't try to stop it, analyze it, or push it away. Just observe it moving. Do this for 5 to 10 minutes daily. Similarly, when interacting with others, practice active listening without immediately forming a counterargument or judgment. Listen to understand, not to respond. For the rest of today, consciously try to notice when you're judging yourself or others. Instead of engaging, simply acknowledge the judgment and gently let it pass, focusing on neutral observation. Asterisk. The primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation but rather your thoughts about it. Eckhart Tolle asterisk. Tip 5. Gratitude as an antidote. It's easy to get caught up in what's missing, what's going wrong, or what we don't have. This deficit-focused thinking is a powerful generator of stress. Most people, especially in our comparison-driven society, spend more time lamenting their perceived lack than appreciating their abundance. They focus on the one complaint, the one inconvenience, or the one unmet desire, overshadowing all the good that exists. This constant striving and dissatisfaction create a perpetual state of stress, making it difficult to feel content or at peace, regardless of actual circumstances. Imagine you have a beautiful garden filled with vibrant flowers, lush greenery, and ripe fruits, but your focus is solely on a single weed growing in a far corner. You obsess over that weed, letting it consume your thoughts and energy, preventing you from enjoying the bounty and beauty surrounding you. You prune the flowers half-heartedly, sigh at the lack of perfection, and feel stressed by the existence of that one flaw, missing the entire magnificent garden that is thriving. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you consciously cultivate gratitude. The truth is, gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from problems to possibilities. It acts as a powerful antidote to stress, rewiring your brain to recognize and appreciate the positive aspects of your life, even amidst challenges. It doesn't mean ignoring problems, but rather balancing them with an awareness of your blessings, creating a more resilient and peaceful internal state. To implement this, start a daily gratitude journal. Every morning or evening, write down at least 3 specific things you are genuinely grateful for. These don't have to be grand gestures. They can be as simple as the warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a colleague, or the comfort of my bed. Additionally, practice expressing gratitude to others. A heartfelt thank you can uplift both you and the recipient, strengthening positive connections. Before you go to sleep tonight, list 5 specific things that went well or brought you joy today, no matter how small. Feel the emotion of gratitude as you acknowledge each one. Asterisk. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. Melody Beatty asterisk. Step 2. Reclaim your energy. This second step focuses on practical strategies to protect and replenish your physical, mental, and emotional energy. Stress drains us, and by consciously restoring our vital resources, we build resilience. Tip 6. Digital detox for inner peace. In our hyper-connected world, our devices have become constant companions, buzzing, pinging, and demanding our attention. This incessant digital stimulation is a primary, often unrecognized, source of stress. Most people are tethered to their phones, laptops, and social media, constantly bombarded with information, comparisons, and notifications. This leaves little room for quiet reflection, deep work, or genuine connection, leading to fragmented attention, sleep disruption, and a pervasive sense of being always on. The pressure to respond instantly and consume endlessly creates a mental overload that perpetuates stress. Imagine your brain as a computer with dozens of tabs open, all refreshing simultaneously, emitting bright lights and loud sounds, while also running complex background processes. Eventually, the system crashes, becomes sluggish, or overheats. That's what constant digital input does to your nervous system. You're not allowing your operating system to ever truly rest or defragment, leading to a buildup of mental clutter and tension that manifests as chronic stress and anxiety. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you consciously disconnect to reconnect with yourself. The truth is, deliberate periods of digital detox are essential for mental clarity, emotional regulation, and stress reduction. By creating boundaries around your digital consumption, you reclaim your attention, reduce external pressures, and create space for genuine rest and rejuvenation. This isn't about abandoning technology, but mastering its use. To implement this, establish no-phone zones and digital blackout hours. Designate your bedroom as a phone-free zone, especially an hour before bed and an hour after waking. Implement a daily digital blackout, starting with just 30 minutes, where all non-essential devices are off or out of reach. Use this time for reading a physical book, a quiet walk, journaling, or simply sitting in silence. Turn off non-essential notifications on your phone to reduce constant interruptions. Tonight, place your phone outside your bedroom. Engage in a calming, screen-free activity for at least 30 minutes before sleep. Asterisk, the greatest of evils and the worst of crimes is poverty, and I do not mean poverty of money, but poverty of perception. Walt Whitman, rephrased for digital context, poverty of attention, asterisk. Tip 7. The sacred pause, breathing breaks. Our modern lives are often a relentless sprint, moving from one task to the next without a moment's reprieve. This continuous high-gear activity, without deliberate rest points, grinds down our nervous system and ramps up stress hormones. Most people operate under the belief that stopping means weakness or unproductivity. They push through fatigue, ignore warning signs, and consider short breaks a luxury they can't afford, leading to burnout, irritability, and chronic stress. They forget the profound power of simply pausing. Imagine driving a car at top speed, never stopping to refuel, check the oil, or let the engine cool down. Eventually, the engine seizes or you run out of gas, leaving you stranded. Our bodies and minds are similar. Without regular pauses, moments to breathe, to reflect, to simply be, we deplete our internal resources, leading to breakdowns, both mental and physical. The constant high-alert state is incredibly taxing. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you intentionally integrate sacred pauses into your day. The truth is, even short, deliberate breaks and mindful breathing exercises can dramatically reset your nervous system, reduce cortisol levels, and boost your cognitive function. These aren't interruptions. They are essential investments in your well-being and productivity. These small moments create micro-resets that prevent stress from accumulating. To implement this, practice the 4-7-8 breathing technique several times a day. Inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. And exhale completely through your mouth with a whoosh sound for a count of 8. Repeat this cycle 3 to 4 times. Additionally, schedule mini breaks into your calendar. Even 5 minutes every hour to stand up, stretch, look out a window, or simply close your eyes. Make these non-negotiable. Today, set a timer for every hour. When it goes off, take 3 deliberate, deep breaths and consciously release tension from your shoulders and jaw. Asterisk, between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth, and our freedom. Viktor Frankl asterisk. Tip 8. Fuel your body, calm your mind. The connection between what we eat and how we feel is undeniable, yet often overlooked in the quest to manage stress. Our bodies require proper nourishment to function optimally, and when we fuel them with highly processed foods, excessive sugar, or caffeine, we create internal chaos that exacerbates stress and anxiety. Most people reach for comfort foods, sugary snacks, or multiple cups of coffee when stressed, creating a vicious cycle of temporary highs followed by crashes, further destabilizing mood and energy levels. Imagine your body as a high-performance vehicle. If you fill it with low-grade, contaminated fuel, or skip oil changes, it won't perform efficiently. It will sputter, break down, and become unreliable. Similarly, consistently poor dietary choices compromise your body's ability to produce neurotransmitters that regulate mood, manage inflammation, and maintain stable energy, leaving you more vulnerable to the physical and psychological impacts of stress. Your brain is not immune to what you put into your body. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you recognize food as medicine and consciously choose to nourish your body. The truth is, a balanced diet rich in whole foods, lean proteins, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates provides the stable energy and essential nutrients your brain and body need to effectively cope with stress. Hydration also plays a crucial role in maintaining mental clarity and reducing fatigue. Prioritizing nutritious food is a powerful act of self-care. To implement this, focus on adding nutrient-dense foods rather than solely restricting. Aim to include a colorful array of fruits and vegetables in every meal. Swap sugary drinks for water and processed snacks for whole food alternatives like nuts, seeds, or fruit. Pay attention to how different foods make you feel, noting any link between what you eat and your energy or mood shifts. Plan your meals to avoid reaching for unhealthy options when hunger strikes. Today, commit to drinking an extra glass of water with each meal and swapping one processed snack for a piece of fruit or a handful of nuts. Asterisk. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Hippocrates asterisk. Tip 9. Movement as medicine. When stress mounts, our natural inclination is often to become more sedentary, withdrawing into comfort or paralysis. However, physical inactivity traps stress hormones and pent-up energy within the body, exacerbating feelings of anxiety, tension, and overwhelm. Most people overlook the profound therapeutic power of movement, viewing exercise as a chore rather than a vital tool for mental well-being. They might feel too tired or too stressed to exercise, creating a cycle where stress causes inactivity, which in turn fuels more stress. Imagine a stagnant pool of water. Over time, it becomes murky, attracts insects, and can even become a breeding ground for disease. Now imagine a flowing river. It's clear, vibrant, and continuously refreshed. Your body, when sedentary, can become like that stagnant pool, accumulating stress hormones and tension. When you move, you become like the river, allowing energy to flow, toxins to be released, and your system to be refreshed and revitalized. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you intentionally use movement as a powerful tool to discharge stress and restore balance. The truth is, even short bursts of physical activity can release endorphins, reduce cortisol, improve mood, and enhance your ability to cope with daily pressures. It doesn't require a marathon. It simply requires intentional motion, designed to move energy through your body. To implement this, find an activity you genuinely enjoy, even if it's just walking. Start with small, consistent steps, a 10-minute walk during your lunch break, dancing to your favorite song, or taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Prioritize consistency over intensity. When feeling overwhelmed, try a quick burst of movement like jumping jacks, stretching, or a brisk walk around the block. This immediate physical release can often break the cycle of spiraling thoughts. Today, commit to 15 minutes of intentional movement, a walk, dancing, stretching, or light yoga. Notice how your body and mind feel afterward. Asterisk, the body achieves what the mind believes. Napoleon Hill, and the body assists the mind in believing well when it's cared for. Asterisk. Tip 10. Cultivate authentic connections. In our increasingly digital and isolated world, genuine human connection often takes a back seat, replaced by superficial interactions on social media. This lack of deep, authentic connection is a significant contributor to stress, anxiety, and feelings of loneliness. Most people either spend too much time alone or engage in relationships that are draining rather than uplifting, failing to prioritize the bonds that truly nourish their spirit. They might feel pressure to maintain a large network of casual acquaintances, neglecting the quality of their closest relationships. Imagine trying to weather a storm alone in a small, flimsy shelter, knowing there's a strong, well-built communal lodge nearby where others are gathering. Yet, you stay isolated, struggling against the wind and rain, feeling overwhelmed and vulnerable. Authentic connections are that communal lodge, a source of warmth, support, and shared strength that helps us navigate life's challenges. Without them, we're left exposed and burdened. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you consciously cultivate and prioritize authentic, supportive connections. The truth is, meaningful relationships provide emotional support, a sense of belonging, and different perspectives that can significantly reduce stress. Sharing your burdens with someone you trust can lighten their weight, and offering support to others can create a powerful sense of purpose and connection. It's about quality over quantity. To implement this, identify 2 to 3 people in your life with whom you feel genuinely connected and supported. Make an intentional effort to spend quality time with them regularly. A phone call, a coffee meeting, a shared meal. During these interactions, practice active listening and vulnerability. Be present, put your phone away, and truly engage. If you feel isolated, seek out communities based on shared interests, whether online or in person, to foster new connections. Reach out to one person today who truly uplifts you. Send them a message, make a call, or plan to meet up. Share something genuine, and actively listen to them. Asterisk, no man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. John Donne asterisk. Step 3. Redefine your boundaries. This final step empowers you to protect your personal space, time, and energy from external demands. Stress often arises when our boundaries are permeable, allowing others' needs and expectations to override our own. Tip 11. The art of saying no. One of the most insidious sources of stress is the inability to say no. We often fear disappointing others, appearing unhelpful, or missing out, leading us to overcommit and spread ourselves too thin. Most people are yes people, constantly taking on additional tasks, favors, or social engagements even when their plate is already overflowing. This leads to resentment, burnout, and a constant feeling of being overwhelmed, as their time and energy are dictated by others' demands rather than their own priorities. Imagine your personal energy and time as a precious resource, like a finite amount of clean water. Every yes to something you don't truly want or can't genuinely commit to is like pouring a cup of that water out. Soon, your well runs dry, leaving you parched and unable to hydrate yourself. When you don't set boundaries, others will happily drink from your well until there's nothing left for you. The stress comes from this depletion and the resentment from feeling used. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you master the art of saying no strategically and graciously. The truth is, no is not a rejection of a person, but a protection of your own well-being and priorities. It empowers you to honor your commitments, safeguard your time, and preserve your mental and emotional energy for what truly matters to you. A clear no is far kinder than a resentful, half-hearted yes. To implement this, practice the gracious no. When asked to do something you can't or don't want to do, use phrases like, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't take that on right now," or "My plate is full at the moment, but I wish you the best with it." You don't need to over-explain or apologize profusely. Practice in low-stakes situations first, then gradually apply it to more challenging requests. Remember, saying no to one thing allows you to say a more enthusiastic yes to something else. Today, identify one request or invitation you've been dreading or that doesn't align with your priorities. Practice politely declining it. Asterisk, the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Warren Buffett asterisk. Tip 12. Delegate, let go. Many of us carry the burden of doing everything ourselves, believing that no one else can do it as well, or that it's simply easier to handle it personally. This superhero syndrome is a massive stress amplifier, leading to overwhelm, exhaustion, and a constant feeling of being indispensable. Most people resist delegating tasks, whether at work or home, out of a desire for control, a fear of imperfect outcomes, or a belief that asking for help is a sign of weakness. This leads to a perpetually overflowing to-do list and a chronic state of stress. Imagine yourself as a juggler trying to keep 20 balls in the air all at once. You're frantic, sweating, dropping some, barely catching others, utterly exhausted by the effort. Meanwhile, there are capable people standing by, willing to help catch some of those balls, but you refuse to hand them over. The stress isn't from the number of balls, but from your insistence on juggling them all alone, when a collaborative approach could ease the load immensely. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you master the art of delegation and trust others. The truth is, empowering others to help not only lightens your load, but also fosters teamwork, develops skills in those you delegate to, and ultimately creates more efficient and less stressful outcomes. Letting go of the need for perfect execution by yourself frees up your mental and physical energy for higher impact activities and much-needed rest. To implement this, identify 3 tasks you regularly do that could be done by someone else, at home, work, or through outsourcing. Clearly communicate the task, the desired outcome, and any relevant instructions. Resist the urge to micromanage. Accept that the task might not be done exactly your way, but if the outcome is satisfactory, that's a win. Start with smaller, less critical tasks to build your confidence in delegating. Today, identify one task you can genuinely delegate, communicate it clearly, and then consciously step back and let someone else handle it. Asterisk, you don't have to do it all. You just have to do what matters. John Acuff asterisk. Tip 13. Protect your time space. Our personal time and physical space are sacred, yet they are often the first things we allow to be invaded by external demands and clutter. A chaotic environment and an unstructured schedule contribute significantly to mental and emotional stress. Most people live with perpetually cluttered homes, disorganized workspaces, and schedules that leave no breathing room. This creates a subtle but constant hum of anxiety, as they feel visually overwhelmed, mentally distracted, and unable to find moments of quiet solitude. Imagine your mind as a beautiful, pristine room. If you constantly throw junk into it, allow others to barge in without knocking, and never tidy up, that room becomes a messy, inhospitable place, hard to think or relax in. Similarly, when your physical space is cluttered and your time is constantly interrupted, your mental space becomes equally messy, making it impossible to feel calm and focused. The stress comes from this constant infringement on your personal boundaries. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you consciously protect your time and physical space. The truth is, a tidy environment promotes a clear mind, and dedicated periods of uninterrupted time allow for deep work, creative flow, and true relaxation. Establishing physical and temporal boundaries creates a sense of order and calm, reducing sensory overload and giving you the peace of mind to focus on what's truly important. To implement this, start with the 15-minute declutter. Dedicate just 15 minutes each day to tidying one small area of your home or workspace. Don't aim for perfection, just a noticeable improvement. For time protection, schedule focus blocks in your calendar, where you commit to working on one task without interruption, turning off notifications. Communicate these blocks to others. Create a sanctuary space, even if it's just a corner of a room, that is always kept tidy and peaceful. Take 15 minutes today to clear and tidy your immediate workspace or bedside table. Notice the immediate shift in your mental clarity. Asterisk, your environment is a reflection of your state of mind. If you want to change your life, start by cleaning up your space. Anonymous asterisk. Tip 14. Confront, resolve, don't avoid. Conflict avoidance is a common coping mechanism, but it's a huge stress generator. When we shy away from difficult conversations or unresolved issues, they don't disappear. They fester, growing larger and more emotionally charged in our minds. Most people postpone crucial discussions, sweep problems under the rug, or silently stew over grievances, hoping they will magically resolve themselves. This leads to chronic low-level anxiety, resentment, and the constant fear of an eventual explosion, far more stressful than addressing the issue directly. Imagine you have a small, persistent leak in a pipe in your house. If you ignore it, hoping it will stop, the leak will eventually cause significant water damage, mold, and a much larger, more expensive problem down the line. The stress of the small, fixable leak becomes a massive renovation nightmare. Similarly, unaddressed conflicts don't go away. They erode relationships, build internal pressure, and create a far greater emotional damage than a direct, timely conversation would have. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you develop the courage to confront issues directly and constructively. The truth is, resolving conflicts, even difficult ones, releases emotional tension, clarifies misunderstandings, and prevents stress from accumulating. While confrontation can be uncomfortable, it is often a necessary step towards genuine peace, healthier relationships, and a lighter mental load. It allows you to move forward rather than remain stuck. To implement this, practice the calm approach, communicate, ask, listen, mediate. First, identify the core issue. Then, calmly communicate your feelings and needs using I statements. I feel X when Y happens instead of you always do Z. Ask open-ended questions to understand the other person's perspective. Actively listen without interrupting. Finally, work towards a mutually agreeable solution or at least an understanding. If a situation causes significant stress, plan when and how you will address it rather than allowing it to hang over you. Identify one small, lingering unresolved issue or unspoken grievance. Plan to address it constructively with the relevant person within the next 48 hours. Asterisk, the truth will set you free, but first it will make you miserable. James A. Garfield asterisk. Tip 15. Future-proof your peace, proactive planning. Many people live in a reactive state, constantly putting out fires and responding to crises as they arise. This perpetual state of reactivity is a significant source of stress, leaving us feeling overwhelmed, behind schedule, and always playing catch-up. Most people fail to engage in proactive planning, preferring to deal with problems only when they become urgent. This often means crucial tasks are left until the last minute, small issues escalate into major emergencies, and there's a constant underlying hum of anxiety about what might go wrong next. Imagine trying to navigate a ship through rough waters without a map, a compass, or a weather forecast. You're constantly battered by waves, changing course erratically, and always reacting to the immediate danger. You never feel truly safe or in control. Now imagine having a clear destination, a detailed map, and an understanding of the weather. You can anticipate challenges, adjust your sails, and navigate with confidence, even through a storm. Proactive planning provides that map and compass for your life. But here's the secret. Real control begins when you become a proactive architect of your future peace. The truth is, by investing a little time in planning and anticipating potential challenges, you can prevent a significant amount of future stress. Proactive measures, from organizing your day to anticipating potential obstacles and having contingency plans, create a buffer against chaos and cultivate a profound sense of calm preparedness. To implement this, dedicate 15 to 30 minutes each week to future-proofing your peace. Review your upcoming week. Identify potential stress points, e.g., big deadlines, difficult meetings, busy social events. Brainstorm one small proactive step you can take for each to reduce its impact, e.g., start a project early, prepare talking points, say no to an optional event. Create a simple daily or weekly plan that includes time for self-care and buffer zones. Automate tasks where possible, bill payments, subscription renewals, to reduce mental load. Take 15 minutes right now to look at your schedule for the next week. Identify one potential stressor and take one small, proactive step to mitigate it. Asterisk, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Benjamin Franklin asterisk. If you're still reading this, if you've journeyed with me through these powerful steps, then something profound is stirring within you. I know life can feel heavy sometimes, burdened by expectations, disappointments, and the relentless pace of modern existence. I know there are days when the weight of the world feels too much to bear, and the idea of eliminating stress seems like an impossible dream. You might feel tired, perhaps a little skeptical, or maybe even overwhelmed by the sheer volume of these insights. And that's okay. Feel it. Acknowledge it. But here's what I want you to remember. Deep in your heart, everything will be okay. More than okay. In fact, you are capable of so much more peace, joy, and resilience than you currently allow yourself to experience. I believe in you, even if no one else does, and perhaps, even if you don't fully believe in yourself right now. I believe in your capacity to change, to grow, to heal. I believe in your strength to rise above the noise and reclaim your inner calm. Perhaps your goal is to sleep soundly through the night, to wake up feeling refreshed. Maybe it's to enjoy your relationships without the constant hum of anxiety, to be truly present with your loved ones. Perhaps you want to find renewed passion in your work, or simply to experience moments of quiet joy throughout your day, without the shadow of stress looming over you. Whatever your vision of a less stressful life looks like, it is within your reach. This isn't just about reducing stress. It's about reclaiming your life, your power, and your authentic self. It's about building a foundation of inner peace that no external storm can truly shake. But it requires commitment. It requires a promise. Not to me, but to yourself. A promise to be patient, to be persistent.